Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Ducks football.
Touchdown, Oregon. Byron Cardwell. That was quick.
We have to push ourselves to be the best that we want to be.
Pressured, steps up, goes down. Sack Brandon Dorless.
We think iron sharpens iron, right? You want to create that competitive environment. You have to do things that are hard.
Way down for Thornton. He's got it. He's going to score. What a stop by Oregon's Noah Sewell. Oh, what a throw. What a catch. Terrence Ferguson.
I'm excited about the energy that our coaches bring and the energy our players bring day in and day out.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, protect what matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Ducks football.
Welcome back into the show, our Country Financial Studios. Another week of Duck football back at home after a ho-hum football game up in the Palouse. One of those yawners again. I got to get more blood pressure medicine. I almost didn't make it through that game, and you were laying on the floor once. Head coach Dan Lanning is here. He was calm on the sideline. Never even got upset, worried. All I could see was you smiling down there the whole game, Coach.
I don't know about that.
Maybe I didn't have a good view of everything. But, hey, congratulations. Your first trip to the Palouse as a head coach, and you kind of get a sense of the feeling for what people were talking about when they said it's a tough place to play.
No doubt. Yeah, it was a fun environment. Obviously, pleased with the result at the end. I think we learned a lot about our team in that game.
Road games have their challenges we talked about last week, but what a great road victory for you guys in, as we just talked about, a really, really tough place to play. How did you guys deal with the noise in there? I mean, this is a noisy place here in Autzen Stadium, but offensively you don't normally deal with that type of noise.
Yeah, it's hard. You practice a lot of different things within rhythm, of the game, of cadence and what that sequence like, and you try to replicate that in practice with crowd noise and some stuff, but it's hard to replicate that true environment and atmosphere, especially down by their band and some of those moments until you're actually in it. So I thought our guys, adapted and handled it, much better, obviously, in the second half. But we had to work on it for a little bit.
Good news, bad news, sort of ask you, what did you like, what did you not like about what your team did? I mean, let's talk about first of all, what didn't go well? What did you not like in that game?
Yeah, we had some self-inflicted wounds. You go back and you look at penalties and the results of penalties within that game. There's some moments that we hurt ourselves early. We get down to the red area, we have a penalty, and we back up, and then we have a hard time punching it in for a score. We have to take a field goal, and I think we had 3 red area drives there in the first half that were field goals instead of touchdowns. Yeah. Defensively, we get some critical stops, and then we have, a penalty at an end of a drive or the beginning of the drive that give up free 15 yards, and those are hard things to overcome in games like that. To be able to perform at that level, you can't have self-inflicted wounds.
But you had some really good things in that ball game. Obviously, to come out from behind, show what your team can do when they really pull it together, huh?
Yeah, there were some huge moments. There was no give up on our sideline. The guys were, in it from the beginning to the very end, and came down to some critical plays. But I saw guys execute some of the same things they do in practice, showing up out there in the game.
You can really take growth of this team from a game like that, can't you? I mean, there's a lot of things you guys did really well. There's a lot of things always to work on, but man, to be able to show the grit and the resilience and everything that went with it, I mean, it's a great opportunity for you guys.
Yeah, you can learn a lot, when you play football, obviously, and we like to learn, more from wins, hopefully, than the other end. And that's a game that there's a lot that we can learn from, and our guys have really done a good job of attacking.
You look at that ball game. I know some of the media asked you about the red zone. What were you doing there that you look at and go, we got to go back to the drawing board, or we just need to go execute better? What are you working on this week in that respect?
Yeah, more red zone work, right? We've done dedicated some more periods to practice to that. We've done some heavy self-scout and evaluated ourselves of where we're at, and then really a lot of it comes down to execution. And when you call something, you got to be able to execute it at a high level and do it the right way. And they outperformed us there at that area of the field, but that's something we can certainly get better at.
What changed in the second half from a coaching standpoint? And I guess you can always say execution, right? I mean, execution in the first half, maybe not as much because you kick field goals, but what changed from first half to second half that allowed you guys to get in the end zone?
Ultimately, you can't go, field goals for touchdowns or vice versa. So, turning those drives into touchdowns, especially early. We talked about it right at half. Hey, we're going to go down here and score right now on offense, and we did in 2 plays. Being able to score quick and have success right there when the second half starts and finish off drives with touchdowns, gives you a chance to be successful and compete to win games.
Something you had to really appreciate in your team in the end when time started becoming short and things got critical. I didn't see a lot of nervousness. I mean, I guess the poise of your team is something that kind of stuck out.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, going into one of those last 2-minute drives, I remember walking over to the offensive huddle and saying, hey, guys, guess what? It's Thursday. It's 2-minute drill, right? Just like we do in practice. And they're like, I think Bo said, see, I told you you'd say that, and because that's what we always kind of preach to our team is that's what it's about. But I didn't see any panic. Same thing you said. Our guys were on board, ready to roll, and excited to execute. And really, same thing to be said for our defense when we went out there and Mace gets the interception. It's, hey, same thing we do every practice, on Thursday. So it was good to see that carry over and, our guys execute.
How do you as a team get ready during the week for a Washington State game? And I always hate to look back on a day like today, Wednesday, we're looking backwards instead of looking forwards. But how do you simulate that Washington State offense, all the different things that they did? Maybe they did some things that were new to you, but how do you simulate that during the week to prepare for the game?
Yeah, every week our look is really, really important, and you try to, recreate as much as you can with what you already do, but there's certainly some things they do that are different, so you have to have some additional meanings for your guys that are given the look. You have to try to recreate it in some good-on-good periods, but it takes practice, it takes repetition, it takes some film study, and they do a lot of good things on their side of the ball, so it's a good way for us to attack it.
And one of the things you guys did early was you answered and adjusted. In that first quarter, they got a couple of scores. Second quarter, it was really tough for Washington State to move the ball offensively, and yet your team answered each time, which was really important.
Yeah, super important. All you need is some time on the clock and another chance to touch the ball, and I think that's kind of how our guys approached that last game.
As you come into this week, and as after every game number 1, 2, 3, 4, you as a coaching staff kind of estimate what your team's mental makeup is coming into the week. Coming off of a tough loss, how are they going to handle that? Coming off an emotional win on the road, how do they handle practice the next week? Do you notice a difference from week to week in these guys and the way they handle things, wins and losses?
Yeah, I think that's human nature, right? I think every single person, if not really focused upon, you can easily lose track of where you're at. And we talked to the team early in the week about, we've won in a variety of ways now. We've, played an opponent in Eastern Washington, played really a complete game, and we're able to take care of an opponent that we should take care of. We played a game here at home against BYU, against a really, talented team, top 15, whatever team in the nation, and we're able to execute at a high level and then go get a road win in a unique situation when you're down and face some adversity. All three really different types of winning environments, but you learn a lot from that. And I think the one thing that our players appreciate is that doesn't really change our approach, right? Even though you've experienced some success, you got to go figure out what you can still go get better at.
I know we'll get a chance here to talk a little bit about defense because I'm talking about the offensive side of the ball right now, but your offensive line, again, opening holes, protecting the quarterback. You move the pocket around a little bit. I mean, just all the things that happen throughout that game, offensive line just continues to really perform well.
Yeah, I think this past game was really a unique challenge because to me, Washington State did the most variety of things that we've seen up to this point as far as how different ways they would attack, and they did it in that game, but our guys were able to hold up front and did a really good job executing.
Somebody asked me this week in an interview what I thought the secret to success of the offense was. I mean, they're putting up a lot of yards, a lot of points, and I said, honestly, I think it is, and you can tell me whether I'm really way off the mark or not. It's the offensive line. Seems to me the key ingredient that everybody plays off of.
Yeah, they're definitely a big part of it. That continuity and the job they've done is really impressive. I think that there's just a really clear understanding of our expectations and our goals right now on that side of the ball, and they're doing a good job executing. But the O-line's, it's definitely a key cog.
No doubt about it. All right, he is the head coach. He is Dan Lanning. He's going to stay here for another segment because we got more to talk about. We're going to talk about the defensive side of the ball, then we'll get into Stanford a little bit as we get ready for the home game, night game, kind of Friday Night Lights type of. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. We're going to come back. It's our Pepsi Coaches Interview brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. And we are right back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Welcome back inside our Country Financial Studio. Jerry Allen, Jorgie, and head coach Dan Lanning and Joey Mac will be along in a little bit. We're hoping that we can maybe drag Jeffrey Bassa in here. He had a pretty good game. In fact, he had a number of defensive guys that just play really well as a group. I mean, I want to single out this guy or that guy, but from week to week, it's a group of guys.
Yeah, I think it's always, it's a benefit when you can see a lot of guys show up to the table and have an opportunity to be successful for us. So, Jeffrey's certainly one of them. He's a pleasure to coach.
Let your defense early settle down after the initial onslaught. When the fans are into it, the offense is really gel on that type of deal, and there's an adjustment. I asked you during the last segment about how do you prepare and how do you simulate that offense. There's an adjustment period that takes place at the beginning of a game like that, particularly an offense that hits that quick in the way that they run their offense, isn't there?
Yeah, they did a great job, and you kind of always as a defensive coach want to get through that opening script, right? What's the variety of plays that we're going to see early in a game? And they certainly pitched a lot of different plays at us early, and I think our players were able to adjust there, like you said, and kind of settle in.
How do you as a defensive coordinator, how do you mentally get your team ready and physically in practice for trick plays? I mean, there was a lot of trickeration in that game on Saturday.
Lots of trickeration, a couple that we didn't get prepared for well enough, so you just continue to build off it. You have to, have really heightened awareness as a player, understand what areas of the field those plays show up, and, work it, right? That's all you can really say. Trust your eyes and have eye discipline. I think that's where those plays really carry through.
Felt like your depth on the defensive line in particular was a real key in this game. I mean, there's tons of keys that you can point to, but chasing Cam Ward around, sometimes you got to tip your cap to a guy like that just keeps plays alive and did what he did in that game. But your depth at defensive line really became a key towards the end of the game.
Yeah, certainly. Cam is obviously a really talented player, and you go through the end of that game, you send 5 people and you can't get them down. You send 3, you can't get them down. You send, you change up the looks, you give a variety of looks, and he's just an elusive player that did a great job of extending plays. I think you go back and say, man, we missed some tackles. that are a little bit frustrating. We got to do a better job of there. But having the amount of guys that we can play on that defensive line, like you mentioned, certainly is a benefit for us.
We know who the starters are, who the first-line guys are coming in. You're seeing some pretty good numbers on defense, but you're a month into the season. Are we still going to see some guys who are still growing and learning and going to become factors later on in this season?
Yeah, I think so. As we can continue to develop players, and continue to grow and learn the system, I think, roles will grow as well.
Made them one-dimensional, I guess. Again, they passed for yards, you passed for more type of situation. And you told us last week, listen, whatever the team, and you would do it too. If you're having success throwing the ball, you're going to keep throwing the ball for yards. But 2 weeks in a row, actually multiple weeks in a row now, you've made the opposing offense one-dimensional. How does that help you guys?
Well, it's certainly a benefit when you can play one thing. We have to play that one thing better, right? And we've done a good job of stopping the run. I think we want to be better in the passing game, but particularly the short passes is something we need to improve with the way we get to the ball, post snap. So, you'd love to make a team one-dimensional. I think it makes it easier on you defensively when you can do that. That being said, there's still a lot of opportunities for us to get better.
Talk a little bit about Mace Funa and the play he made, because he read that play. I mean, it's like as the game went on, you knew they were going to do that short passing game, and he prepared himself mentally for it, and that was just a great play.
Yeah, we talked about it, during the week. If you're left in space, hit the brakes. And, he's left in space in that play. It's a screen play. Mace did a great job of attacking the ball and, obviously has a huge critical play in that game.
Did you really – were you really yelling, get down, get down?
I definitely wanted him to go down. Yeah, we could have, I think that's a hard, moment in time for a player to realize. But, we replicated something similar to that today in practice in a 2-minute scenario. And same thing, when you're ahead, if you get an interception, that's a good opportunity to get down. Now, I texted with Mace right after the game and said, hey, man, you should have gone down. Oh, my bad, coach. But I don't know. If we did it all over again, I feel like Mace might take that in for another touchdown.
Just the unbelievable ability to be able to adjust and catch that ball when you have no idea what angle it's going to come out at from the QB, where it's going to be, and to be able to react that quickly. It's just amazing.
A special play, but I think I can speak for everyone on our team, but that special play for a special player. Mace is a phenomenal young man that works his tail off every single day and doesn't really care about how much attention comes his way. And for him to have a moment like that in the game, I think is really cool.
Yeah. Probably not the only interception he'll have in his career either, because now he knows what it feels like, and he wants another one.
He probably wants to play tight end right now.
That's right. We heard that too. You're getting ready for a Stanford team that is. It's interesting. We look at the numbers; they actually have outgained some of the teams they're playing against. Turnovers have been an issue. So, is your coaching staff, Kenny Dillingham, Junior Adams, Drew Manager, get ready in a game planning mode? Do you look at a defense and say, okay, we got these wideouts, we have these tight ends, we think we can do this against them? Is that what game planning is?
That's certainly part of it. Yeah. You spend a lot of time knowing what you're good at, and then how they've attacked and addressed things that you do, right? Yeah. And evaluate that and assess it, and then try to figure out where matchups fall. But yeah, there's a lot of pieces to game planning offensively and defensively, and that's certainly part of it.
Offense, defense, game planning, but special teams has been pretty important for you. I mean, you'd rather have touchdowns than field goals, but when you get into scoring range, Cam Lewis is hitting those field goals. And from a kickoff standpoint, ball out of the end zone on a consistent basis, that's certainly helpful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. We talk about changing the game in special teams. We put a big priority on it, the way we work it in practice, but being able to count on Cam to put those points on the board for us, to be able to count on the ball being kicked out of the end zone by Andrew. I mean, those are all really big factors for us.
What is it about Stanford that you're preparing for? What do they do well that concerns you?
Well, we talked early on in this segment about what hurt us last week, and it was us really shooting ourselves in the foot. Kind of a lack of discipline and finish in a lot of ways for us from a penalty standpoint. I think one thing that always sticks out to me about Stanford is they're a disciplined football team. Stanford doesn't usually beat Stanford, right? And they're one of the lower penalized teams in the nation right now. So we have to make sure that we don't beat us, right? They can't be better at that game than us. We have to do a good job of being a disciplined team within this game. I have a lot of respect for Coach Shaw and the success that he's had at Stanford. His teams, they really have an identity in, and I think that shows through the way they play. And you mentioned it already. If it's not for some costly turnovers, they're probably on the other end of some of these games more recently.
little different style of play than the normal, at least down in and down out. Not that you guys don't run some sort of jumbo packages on offense, but a little bit different. How do you prepare for that?
Yeah, luckily the benefit for us, like you mentioned, is our offense has done some of that already for us, defensively. But it's hard when you play a team that has this many variety of personnel groups and formations that they can create. There's not enough time in the day to practice all of them. So you have to lean in on fundamental technique, have to lean on some of your camp rules, and just hoping your players can understand how to get up and line up to certain formations and be able to execute.
Defensively, your eyes become very important. You really have to watch. I mean, you have to have a vision of the field and follow those fundamentals. You don't start trying to create your own play.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. It's huge.
I got a good question for you. Have you practiced at all coaching during shout?
We haven't done it in practice yet. We've talked about it some. Yeah, we'll be okay. We're going to get it figured out.
All right. Jordan, I don't know if you've got any more. I got one question I want to ask you, though, and actually more of a comment for you. Rob Mullins mentioned this week about the student-athlete experience. It got me to thinking about everybody in a football program. Fans are also focused on players and coaches. They forget about the support staff and everybody around you that kind of really makes the program go. And I'm thinking of a guy like Kenny Farr, but there are a lot of Kenny Farrs that's a part of your program. Could you talk about the importance of that?
Oh, we're not the same program without people like that and without people like Kenny. And there's so many pieces that make this thing work, and it's the unseen, right? Everybody sees the game day operation and the players on the field, but there's so much that goes into that with our support staff, with our administrative staff, our academic support. All those things, really contribute. Nutrition, our strength programs. There's so much administrative support that really, at the end of the day, really makes this thing tick for us, and it makes it seem very seamless. And this wouldn't be the same without all that help.
It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. I bet it's fun to be a part of it too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, class dismissed. That's all we need from you. You're done. That's it.
Appreciate you guys. Always make it easy on me.
Coach Dan Lanning is here for the Coaches Show, the Toyota Coaches Show. We'll let you go now. We're going to get a player in here in a moment and find out the good dirt on the coach. Well, let's ask the players about coach. You don't know that yet, do you? We're going to find that out. It's the Toyota Coaches Show. By the way, our coaches interview brought to you by Pepsi and locally on Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. More after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show. Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Joey Mac welcoming you back inside the Country Financial Studio, Toyota Coaches Show, and now we just heard from Coach Lanning, and Jeffrey Bassa is here in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. Hey.
Yes, sir.
Jeff, how many people call you Jeffrey compared to Jeff?
Not a lot, to be honest. Yeah, not a lot.
So introducing you as Jeffrey, do you feel like you just got in trouble?
Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit.
So Jeff Bassa, do you realize, and I'm sure you've had this growing up, just how awesome your last name is for an athlete? Like, we can literally sit here and say Bossa the boss.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no doubt. And a little bit. So, like, back in high school, where I kind of got the nickname Jefe was, you know, like Jefe in Spanish is boss. So, you know, my last name being Bossa kind of correlates a little bit.
So you get people around here still calling you that?
Yeah.
Okay. See, now this is why we have these sorts of interviews. I did not know that. I've only heard that around practice once or twice, and I can't say that I ever connected the dots that they were talking about you. So now I know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is great. All right. Now, the last time you were in here, those of you who were watching our Media Day special on Duck Insider, you saw Braden Swinson interview Jeff, and then Jeff turned it around and interviewed Braden. By the way, well done. One of the most viewed segments on the Go Ducks YouTube.
All right.
So well done. Now, as a result, we didn't get to ask Jeff for his 2-minute life story, but I told you a little bit about this. I don't know if you remember. We've got a leaderboard. We'll time you.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, I'm going to start a stopwatch.
All right.
The 2-minute life story of Jeff Bassa. Go.
All right. Man, shoot. Kid that all right. Kid that was born in Salt Lake City, Utah. Moved to Louisiana. Lived in Baton Rouge for a little bit. Fun fact, started playing football my freshman year. And then, you know, I was a basketball kid growing up. Didn't know much about football, kind of just seeing like the flashy passes and highlights on YouTube and stuff like that. But grew up playing basketball. Was a huge family guy growing up. Well, I was the only boy, so I have 3 sisters, only boy growing up. So you know, I was kind of always that guy that, you know, always got the room to himself. You know, every time we traveled, always got the you know, fun stuff like that. So yeah, just growing up, you know, I'm just a real lovable guy. You know, I always feel like I have a great desire to, you know, push myself to the best limits, and you know, I want to be the best person that I can be. So just a very outgoing person and a very, you know, great person all around.
57 seconds.
All right.
You got a whole other minute. It's yours if you want it.
All right. That's really it. That's
You told us a little bit about your family. Well done.
Yeah.
You told us a little bit about your family. How about your mom and dad especially, too? I mean, you talk about being the only boy.
Right.
Probably still a competitive household because you strike me as a competitive guy.
For sure. Yeah, no doubt. My mom, really, I would say that's where I kind of got my mentality from, is from my mom and my dad for sure. You know, they've always just been even like competing with, you know, just to be the best, like, oh, how can I be the best father? How can I be the best mother? You know, it's day in and day out thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's always it's a competitive household. Even though that I do have 3 sisters, you know, I'm still competing against them in everything that I do. Like when I was younger, it'd be like, who can color this coloring book faster? Little things like that. But
was that you?
No, it was my older sister.
So is she the most competitive? Did you get that competitive juice from your older sister?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Who's the best athlete?
Oh, what? Man, me for sure.
I'm just just making sure. Okay, you know, gotta ask the question. You know, so basketball. So your basketball career. Now you're scholarship football athlete. So you talked a little bit about it. Tell us more about the flip switch. When was it like, oh, you know what, football could really be a thing for me?
Man, so freshman year, actually not even freshman year. So 9th grade, it was still in junior high in Utah. So 9th grade, I was at basketball practice one day, and my high school coach had came in to watch the basketball practice, and you know, we were just out there doing drills and stuff like that, running around 5-on-5 and stuff like that. So, you know, the practice had ended, and he had came up and talked to me. You know, he was like, you know, we have tryouts. You know, we want you to come try out for the team and stuff like that. So I think it was like the next week I went to tryouts. So went up there, and you know, I just developed a great relationship with that coach, and you know, you know, they were like, you know, if you can pay some of these fees, you know what I mean, stuff like that, we can teach you about football. I was like, okay. You know, I'm down to, you know, do that. So I went in, played football. I played receiver going in my first year. I didn't play both ways. I was on the sophomore team, played receiver, a little bit of kick returner because I had some speed to me. So, you know, just from those years on out, you know, my freshman year of high school, playing kickoff for the varsity team, you know, just speed going straight on, stuff like that.
You're a gunner.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. And yeah, that was really it, man. I mean, you know, it just skyrocketed up from that opportunity that I had.
And the rest is history, and now he's a Duck.
Right, no doubt.
Isn't that amazing, though, how fast it can happen? I mean, do you look back on that now that you're sitting in this chair and you're like, boy, that did happen quickly?
Yeah, for sure. And it was all just a decision, and it was a blessing. And, you know, I feel like the time was right.
That one decision, and
right.
you know, look now. So, do you still play basketball as much as you can? I mean, are you like one of these guys that's over at the rec playing basketball and just running people out of the gym sometimes?
Yes, actually. So me, Ty Thompson, Keith Brown, Terrence Ferguson, who claims he is the best hooper, and Moliki, we always try to, you know, get some of the girls basketball team, you know, 5-on-5 against them and stuff like that. We have a great relationship with all them too. So.
That's a great basketball team. Like just naming off the. Okay, who's the point guard? What position did you play?
I think I was like the 4.
Okay.
Or no, I was a 3 because Mo and Ferg are tall. So, I was a 3. Sorry, and then Ty was a shooting guard, quarterback and shooting guard, and then I think Keith was the point guard, but but he was a hustle guy. He was like point guard /5.
Yeah, you need somebody that gets back on defense.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Everyone's got to have one of those guys on the team. You know, I get it. All right, Jeff, I'm curious too. It's been well documented your transition while at Oregon from playing safety and defensive back to moving to linebacker. So. In high school, it sounds to me like you played a bunch of different positions. You were all over the place. Have you ever felt like you've settled into a position? Is this finally you've settled into a position playing linebacker?
No, not really. You know, coming in here my freshman year 2 years ago, you know, coming into the safety room, I thought, you know, I was just going to be settled at safety and stuff like that. But, you know, not knowing how much film that the coaches really watch, you know, I was thrown into kick returner my freshman year when I was here a little bit. But I did not get a chance to return any kicks. But you know, I just feel like I'm always just a very versatile person. You know, I feel like my skill set, and I was just blessed enough to have this body to just be put in different packages and stuff like that.
And you were recruited as an athlete, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm looking at your bio. I thought to myself, boy, I bet you played about 17 different positions.
Yeah.
So you're gonna play D-line next? I mean, are you jockeying just to complete the trifecta of the position groups?
I mean, man, if I keep eating cheeseburgers, I might.
Jeffrey Bassa joining us. All right, I'm gonna get a timeout. Did you ever anticipate before we go to break that Coach Lanning would be talking to you guys about Rocky 1 versus Rocky 3 at practice, and then he would tell all of us in the media about it? Like, is this common occurrence that he's talking to you guys about movies all the time?
Well, so it's actually crazy because I didn't see movies having such a great correlation to the things that we actually do in the facility and stuff like that, and you know, things that we see in our daily life, like, you know, the difference. I personally have not watched Rocky, sadly, but
it's okay. We found out today that our guy Rob Mosley hasn't seen it either.
Oh man!
And Rob was born the year that won Best Picture.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, just knowing that like some of these movies can show like give you so much information on how like stuff really correlates. Like you can't just give up on your training like you did in Rocky 4. Like you can't just get comfortable. You have to put your stuff on a pedestal. You have to keep going.
That's great. Well, coming out of the break, Scott's got a treat for you. So
all right,
we'll get you ready for that.
All right.
Jeff Bassa joining us. We're back after this. It is the Toyota Coaches Show. More coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has been the credit union serving the University of Oregon community. With remarkable checking, My OCCU mobile banking, and nationwide ATM access. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU, where you'll find fewer fees, higher savings rates, and lower rates on loans. And lots of fellow Duck fans. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/remarkable.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
You're listening to the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Meet Ed, movie buff, animal lover, safe driver.
5 years of driving an ambulance teaches you a thing or two. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved.
When I see a car trying to rush past a turning bus, I get concerned. You see, when big vehicles turn right, they have to swing wide to make the turn. And that's a lesson you don't want to learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait.
It's our roads. It's our safety. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Jeffrey Bassa is with us. And we didn't know this when today started, but Coach Lanning gave us Rocky as today's theme.
All right.
This is the famous music, of course. You feel like you're just ready to punch a bag on.
All right.
Well done. Well done. So, man, I got to tell you, I loved your answer talking about that. Like, it's so cool how stories and in all different ways of consuming stories, right? Like, that's how you can learn lessons from it, you know? And, like, that goes back to when we're all reading picture books as kids. Like, it's very similar. I think that's cool that you guys are doing that. Are you a movie guy? Like, are you getting to that point now? You watch a lot of movies? Where are you at?
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like I've always been a movie guy, but, you know, just being here most of the time, you know, getting in the film room and stuff like that. On my free time, I love to watch movies.
Well, you know, you guys are watching film, right, more than you're watching movies. I get it. That's
right.
You guys' version of a movie, right?
Yeah.
Are you a big film guy? Like, are you someone that watches a lot of formations and films and critiques yourself all the time?
Yes, sir, no doubt. You know, ever since I started playing football, you know, especially even coming here my freshman year, I feel like that's some of the things that I've learned from, you know, some of the older guys that have left last year and some of the older guys that are here or that are still on the team this year. You know, every year I'm just always trying to find more ways, more keys, more little things I can pick up from other people to add to my game.
Beyond football for a second, I want to ask you, what are you most proud of so far in your life outside of football? Because I can unfurl a scroll and list all your accomplishments. What are you most proud of outside of football?
I'd for sure have to say just being myself and being a genuine person. I feel like I'm a very great person to be around, you know.
You are, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Confirmed, everybody.
I appreciate that. But no, I feel like just being a very blunt and genuine person, you know, being an authentic person. I feel like, you know, if there's more people in the world just being themselves, that, you know, the world can be a greater and better place, no doubt.
That's great.
Yes, sir.
That's a good answer. School started this week.
Right.
How does that change for you guys? You kind of settle into a rhythm with football. Now you add the student part of student athlete. How does that change to take fans inside the process a little bit?
Well, we are a morning operation, so we always get stuff done in the morning. So, you know, Coach Lanning has a great schedule set up for us with you know, having time for treatment, having time for getting our bodies back, and having time for, you know, coming back in the afternoon and getting some more film in just for a little bit. But, you know, it's always going to be academics at the end of the day. But so, you know, having that hour span after getting treatment and getting your body back to get done academics is great.
What are you studying?
Right now, journalism, advertising.
Knew it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna work.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's gonna work out. You're still relatively early in your academic career, and career in general on the football field too. What's your favorite class that you've taken so far? Do you have one?
I would for sure have to say either anthropology or journalism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anthropology.
Yeah.
I gotta say I did not expect that. So.
Yeah. I feel like
out.
anthropology has always been easy for me. I don't know. Took 2 classes last year, and it was kind of easy to me. But I also have taken dance. I was, you know, doing a little.
You did well.
A little cha-cha, yeah.
All right. That's great.
Yeah.
See, now that's good.
Yeah.
That's a wide variety, Jeff.
Right.
I mean, that's great. So what do you want to do outside of football? Why'd you pick advertising to study?
You know, I feel like really the reason why I chose advertising is simple. Is because something's always going to have to be sold in the world. You know, just like the little things in here, like literally something always has to be sold. And I feel like no matter how good technology gets, stuff is still going to have to be advertised and stuff like that. So
That makes sense.
Yes, sir.
That's that is something that I would not have said when I was your age. So, I think you're gonna be just fine. What's your strategy as a student athlete, especially this week? This question was on my mind for time management. Like, how do you go about managing your schedule? Because you guys do have so much going on.
Right. It for sure has to come down to, how much do you love the sport, and how much do you care about getting that piece of paper after.
Yeah.
So, really, it's just buying into. You came here for football, but you also have to realize that the football is going to be gone. It's going to go flat after 15 years or 20 years. You know how long someone's career can be. So it's the ball's going to go flat.
What advice would you give yourself if you could, like today, to 17-year-old you? What advice would you give to 17-year-old Jeff Bassa?
I would for sure have to say relationships can take you further than just being an athlete, like just being simply like a set person. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the linebacker room. I mean, that's the room that you're competing with every day, and I imagine those are some of your best friends out there. Tell us a little bit about the group.
Man, I absolutely love this group, man. I love, Coach Long, Coach Gregory, from the assistant coaches, Coach Murph, and, man, this group is special, from the young guys that came in just a couple months ago, and then, from the older dudes just like Noah and, Jackson LeDuc and Justin Flo. I feel like we have the most talented linebacker group in the country, and I feel like there's so many things that our linebacker group can do, and I feel like there's so much higher levels that we can push ourselves to.
It's cool for me to talk with you, especially this week, and think about versatility, because you mentioned how you feel like that's something that you're really proud of, is your versatility. How big of a deal is that in the whole defense, Jeff? I mean, it just feels like versatility, it really is a weapon for this Oregon defense.
Right, no doubt. And I feel like, to answer your question, I feel like as a quarterback's perspective, I feel like if they just see, two linebackers on the field, oh, okay, these two are their run stoppers. All right, boom. Let's run these plays because we know these linebackers can't do this, can't do that. So, but I feel like since we have such a versatile group that, we're able to, confuse quarterbacks, confuse OCs and stuff like that, be able to Coach Lupoy is able to put different pieces in with, different packages, more linebackers in with, less DBs or more, you know what I mean? Just mix it up a little bit.
You were talking with everybody outside in the courtyard earlier, and this was in response to a question that Rob asked you. We talked about it a little bit on the Quack Minute. Tell fans about going against an offense like you guys have for the Ducks, right? I mean, when it's good on good, period, seems like Coach Dillingham's group is testing you guys. What take fans inside practice, what is that matchup really like when you're going against the same guys every day, and then you get a chance on Saturday to go against somebody else.
Right.
You've gone against some pretty good players.
Yes, sir, no doubt. And I feel like we do have the best offense in the country. So I feel like, we have a great OC in Coach Dillingham, and I feel like he's always going to bring something new for us every day. So we're never just stagnant on the defense. And I feel like Coach Lupoy and Coach Dillingham can go at it sometimes, just to see, ooh, I got to get you this day. I got to be better than you today. But just with Bo on the other side, and the other offensive guys with that O-line that I'm going up against every day, I feel like I'm getting so much better as a person, much better. Keys
against Stanford. We'll leave you with that. What's going to take to be successful on Saturday at Autzen?
Keys, we for sure have to stop the run. That's always going to be one of the things. And we there's a big elephant in the room with some of the pass defense, but that's something that we've bought into this week. We're for sure going to get that dialed up, and we're going to come out with a great win on top.
I like it. Jeff Bassa, thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
That was great.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, that's right. The round of applause is well-deserved. You'll see him in action, of course, with the rest of the Ducks. 8 o'clock kickoff on Saturday against Stanford. Jeff, you're welcome back in here anytime, and I mean this sincerely. Braden sat in this chair, but Jeff could have easily sat in this chair and done the interview.
All right.
So whenever you're up for it, you
yes,
say
sir.
the word, and I'm out of here.
All right.
We're going to get a timeout. When we come back, we have something kind of special and fun for you. Highlight calls in more languages than one. It was spectacular. That's next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With 16 convenient locations across Oregon and Southwest Washington. Contact Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists today at proactivepts.com to see a physical therapist. Proactive Physical Therapy Specialists, a proud partner of Oregon Athletics and trusted choice for keeping Duck fans in the game.
The ins and outs of all things Ducks. This is Oregon football from Learfield.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back inside our Toyota Coaches Show. I'm Jerry Allen, Jorgie, Joey Mac, all three of us together here. We'll be up there on Saturday. Terry Johns is back. You don't see him, but he's baby. Yeah.
Baby. Oh, the pregame show will actually be on time again.
Oh, you did a great job on the pregame show. It's not you know how hard that is, though. It's tough.
Oh,
all right. Hey, we had some fun on Saturday. There was some exciting plays. After the game was over, I'm starting to look at Twitter. You got my point. And somebody had a recording of a Spanish broadcast of the game. And
you saw it right after the game? I didn't see it till the next day.
Oh, yeah, I saw it right after.
Oh, shoot. See, here I am, literally standing in line to get on the plane, and bless his heart, Jordan Troster from downstairs in the Marcus Mariota Sports Science Center, he is holding my laptop for me while I'm sending out the highlight of your call of Mace Funa.
It was awesome.
I didn't see the Spanish highlight, but, well, yeah. So, anyway, let's hear both, shall we?
Second down and 4. Ward with a snap. Quick. Intercepted! Touchdown, Mace Funa! Mace Funa jumps up and picks it out of the air, and Oregon has just sealed this football game. How about that? Yeah. Whoa! Excuse me, but I'm a little excited.
Did he have stickum on those fingers? What was that?
Oh, I love it.
Much fun as that was, this one, the one that we're going to play.
So good.
This is
so good.
Yeah.
Será segunda y 4. Termina por ser interceptado. ¡Adiós! ¡Cuac, cuac! ¡Cuac, cuac! Se derrumbó el equipo de los Cougars. Mace Funa se atraviesa, intercepta y con el pick six. ¡Hasta la vista!
It's so good.
That is
so good. Jorge Perez Navarro on the call, courtesy Fox Sports Deportes.
Thank you. It was unbelievable.
Awesome.
Unbelievable.
So good.
Yeah, gave me chills to hear him do that call.
The highlights in general are just great when Oregon wins.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Everything
that
about
was
the
fun,
trip,
though.
the food, the hotel, everything's better
right.
when it's a win.
The flight home. How many ice cream bars did you eat in the end?
I can't remember, but we got to get a break in here. So we'll come back with more of our Toyota Coaches Show. I think it was 5. But who's counting? On the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and the largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. The USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal agencies with free safety equipment donations and officer survival training, along with cash donations to families of law enforcement officers who perish in the line of duty, college scholarships for the children of law enforcement, a citizen awareness program, and more. For more information on the USDSA and how you can help, visit usdeputy.org.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
Or your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you Mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studios. Jerry on Jorgie and Joey, the 3 J's, and Jordan. There's 4 J's.
Yeah, and everybody except Jordan has to end with an E sound. But I don't know if you knew that you did this, but at one point when you went down to him on the sideline, you said, "Jordy, what do you got?" Yeah, you actually did.
No, I remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so from now on, he's Jordy.
Yeah, that's
okay.
what I told him.
That's the way it works.
I mean,
why not?
You know, you famously gave me my on-air name. I did not pick.
No, you didn't have a choice.
It was handed.
Well, you could have taken the other one I gave you, but we couldn't use that on the air.
That's
so
right.
that's the reason we
That's
did
what
that.
he calls me in the hotel.
Yeah, right. Memorable game. And we've had some games in Pullman, in the Palouse against Washington State that were just all-timers. This one's added to the list. And this one, this is not going to be the best finish. I still think it's seeing Rashad Bowman in the end zone knocking down a pass when they wanted pass interference, time ran out. There have been some great matchups.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's about once every 10 years we get a chance to be able to enjoy a game like this, really.
Yes,
I mean, one of those type of ones that was a Harrington at Arizona State, Jeremiah Masoli down at Arizona. I mean, you can only pick out 3 or 4 of those over the 30-plus years that we've done this, and this was one of them. So pretty special, no doubt about it.
You know what's amazing about that, too, is so many of those great, memorable matchups now are against Oregon's next opponent. Right, I mean, this has been for the last, I don't know, guys, what do you think? 15, maybe 20 years now. This has been the clash of the North, and whoever wins this game, Oregon, Stanford, there was a long time there where that was the Pac-12 champion. Right, it took a long time for the South to even win a Pac-12 championship. This is always a big game for both sides.
I don't know if you remember back in Bill Musgrave's early days, going down to Stanford, having a game in hand, looked like the Ducks were going to win. They kick a field goal with time running out.
Painful loss.
Yeah, that's been the Stanford matchups with Oregon. Took us out of the playoffs. But Oregon's got a great opportunity if the 12th man will step up, and it's all about Saturday night, 8 o'clock. Enjoy the day, hydrate. The temperatures. I said hydrate. Temperatures.
I know.
Temperature's going to be just perfect. But it's going to be a great matchup, and let's show this team a little bit of love. I'm excited to see what they do back home again.
Hey, the light show too, man.
Oh, the light show between first and second quarter,
between first and second quarter. Get that GoDucks app on your phone. It's going to be really cool. This is one of the best like pictures, videos that we get every year.
Yeah.
It's that first night game where it's just dark, it's crisp. The light show is going to be awesome.
Air's going to be clear, cool, perfect. All right. By the way, 6 o'clock, our pregame show. We'll all be there to bring it to you. We've got highlights from earlier games in the day and also interviews. So join us Saturday. Bye-bye. God bless everyone.
This has been the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Tonight's show has also been brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.